Thanks, Delencia. Well, as mentioned, temperatures are expected to reach the triple digits by the end of the week, which could pose some major health risks, especially for children and senior citizens. Well, joining us live this morning with some tips to keep in mind is Dr. Gabe Kelen with Johns Hopkins Medicine. Good morning, Doc. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you.
Hey, when we think about these, hot temperatures, not like we haven't had summer before, but it feels like it was forever ago with that extended winter that we had. What comes to mind first for you when you think about these extreme temperatures and keeping us safe?
Yeah, it's interesting that heat is one of the deadliest weather hazards. And what comes to mind is that people will try and maneuver through the heat anyway, and then not recognize that they might be vulnerable or that they've already fallen behind. And then they kind of get into trouble. So we don't tend to keep up with fluids, for example, because we wait till we're thirsty. In this kind of heat, you really cannot wait that long. So you're already in part one of a heat problem if you're sweating profusely and you're behind in thirst. Once you're starting to feel fatigued and maybe muscle cramps, then you're already getting in trouble and your body's telling you, you got to get to a very cool place fairly quickly. Once you're not thinking right, or the person next to you isn't thinking right, they're starting to cook their body from the inside, and they're including their brain. It's not functional. Call 911. Don't wait to call 911. But while you're waiting, try and cool the person yourself, either with ice in their armpits or groin or a wet blanket over them with a fan, whatever, to try and initially cool them down. Even if you're pretty sure you're not going to drown them, put them in a tub and cool them down. So my main thought is that people don't realize that they get into trouble and they don't take precautions very well in terms of what they might be wearing. Obviously, if you have to be outside, you want to wear something light and white and broadband hats. You might not be aware that some of the medications that your doctor prescribed for you might make it harder for you to tolerate the heat. So those are the things I think of, because the people that we see, generally this could have been prevented.
Doc, thinking about the people that we see, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I thought about, you were talking about people not realizing that some of the things they're doing are working against them. I think about last weekend at AFRAM when I saw teenagers, it's 87 degrees and they've got on all black. They've got on hoodies with the hood up. That is not something that you want to do. You don't want to play around with that. When we think about kids, though, we tend to kind of let them have their own freedom when it comes to these things. But also, even when it comes to smaller kids, they can run themselves ragged, and parents really have to be on top of giving them a break, making sure they're taking those breaks to cool off, rehydrate, and often, and making sure that they're hydrating with the proper things, because juice and soda aren't going to cut it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. People think it's the elderly and the very sick that are at risk. Young children don't regulate temperature as well as we do because they have a larger sort of total body surface area compared to the rest of us. So yeah, you have to be, once we get into this hundreds or very high 90s, and Baltimore tends to be very humid, so you can't just sweat this stuff off. You have to be very, very careful about your activities and watch your mates as well. Not just your kids, but all these kids who do, like you said, wear black or a lot or exercising. Pay attention to each other. You might just find that somebody is not doing that well.
All right, Doc, and look, and I know we don't have time for much more, but if you stop sweating, that's a problem. So definitely start getting hydrated and get inside.
Yeah, but you're in trouble even if you're still sweating.
Gotcha.
So don't think that, oh, we're only in trouble once we get goosebumps and we stop sweating. Once you're very tired, more tired than you think, and you get cramps, you're in serious trouble. And once you're not thinking right, you're cooking your body. That's the way I'm going to put it.
All right. Well, we're not going to be cooking anything but food on the grill this week. Keep our houses cool, too, so we can get in there and cool off. Doc, thanks so much for speaking with us this morning, giving us these tips to stay safe.
All right. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you. You too. And stay with us. We'll be right back.